Give me that, give me that, give me that, give me that.
Hey,
Somebody pass.
what's up, y'all? So, I'd like to welcome y'all. Y'all have finally tuned in to Talent. Talent stands for Take a Look Inside Truth for the people that's just tuning in with us. I thank y'all for being a part of this. Today, for me, it's a very special episode. And look, man, I'm just giving it to y'all raw and uncut. I'm coming to y'all, I'm being vulnerable because guess what? When you come to this channel right here, I'm asking that you do the same. Tune in with your heart, with your eyes, with your ears, everything, your third eye, whatever it is. We bring it to here. It's nothing but realness and vulnerability. So I'm not asking of nothing from y'all that I'm not willing to give myself. So today, like I said again, it's a very special episode, and I'm sharing this story with y'all, and I want y'all to just embrace it, tune in, and just get with me on it. You know what I'm saying? So let me not hold y'all back too much. All right, so this episode today is a very special day, and today is December 22nd. And the reason why it's so special to me is it's my big sister's birthday, older sibling. You know what I'm saying? And first off, it's another set of twins. My mama had two sets of twins, and this older sibling that I'm talking about is one of the twins. I'm a twin. Okay, so this is the older twin or whatever, and me and her have shared such a great experience. Man, we have shared so much and beyond sisterhood, you know. So this for me again, like I said, is very special. You know, I haven't quite told y'all my exact story of where it was and what I've been through, but this here will kind of like tune y'all in for the most part of what it is, and then I just, man, throughout time I'll just get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper because I'm gonna share it with y'all. You know, this time right here, this date right here, I have did 10 years in prison, and I have been home for 5 of those years. Now, again, I was telling you all that my release date was set on today, which was December 22nd, which was also my older sister's birthday, but also my parole date. So, man, as you can only imagine, that was very intense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to be able to have a loved one that was there, like, you know, you was there, beside you doing some time, in a hard time in my life. And again, like I said, this has been, I done 10 years. So, and she was locked up before me. So this is only, the beginning for me, and she had a long stretch to go. So, beside you doing some time, in a hard time in my life. And again, like I said, this has been, I done 10 years. So, and she was locked up before me. So this is only, the beginning for me, and she had a long stretch to go. So nonetheless, anyways, that's why I'm explaining, I'm expressing, and I'm, stuck on the fact that, this is a very special episode for me. And forgive me if it brings certain type of emotions that some people just don't fully understand or is well not aware of. But again, at the same time, I want y'all to just embrace it. And I'm taking y'all down a journey and a ride to where y'all can just begin to get to know me and my story. So, in 2009, again, I was taken to the county, and Linwood County, which is where the Women's Source held out here in Los Angeles, California, and stuff. So I was held out there. Now, mind you, when my time came, I was in there. I have never been incarcerated or anything like that. And so for me, this experience was very new. But then again, I knew that my big sister, my older sister, was there. So I knew, my mission, I had something to look forward to, as well as trying to go and figure out what was going on with me, how this was going to play out, and trying to just figure everything out. So, when this day came, and I got sentenced to that. Um, and I had been in there going back and forth fighting my case for 14 months. So you can imagine how exhausting that was and how tiring it was. So when the time finally came to me to where I have gotten sentenced, I was just exhausted, and I felt at this point like my mind had always been okay. At some point, I'll make it to my sister, because that was the whole mission. I don't know when I'm gonna see her again. I don't know what's going on with her, because I've also been here facing my own situation. The communication with family is iffy, because I've been placing a hold, ain't able to have phone calls. I'm back and forth to court, and sometimes it's just a busy time. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that my whole mission was to get there with her, spend some time, and however it go, I'm trying to get there. That's my whole goal. And so throughout my time, like I said, 14 months came, and I finally exhausted my case. I went through trial and everything like that. I lost. I partially lost. I partially won, and I also partially lost, and I'll get to that next time. So I know that it was a sergeant over high power, which is what they call it, because where she was is where you wear oranges, to where and that time they call you K10s, and the K10s, or sometimes they have K4, stuff like that, but those are the people that they call dangerous. And those are the ones to where they don't want to have fully embraced with general population, which is where we wear the blues at, the K1s, whatever, stuff like that. They don't fully have y'all over there. They have them segregated. So like everything is a one-on-one. When they come out, they chain up, they chain by themselves. Oranges, you in blues, and you with everybody else. You go program with everybody else. When you over here, it's more of a segregation. So I remember seeing the sergeant that I heard was ahead of that. And by this time, like I said, I'm so exhausted. I'm going to do whatever it takes to be there, because I felt like, what's my odds? What can I lose? So I tell him that I'm like, man, I just got sentenced. I'm like, your staff is, what I'm saying, they very antagonizing, and I just feel like, I don't want to get into it with your staff, but I feel like at this point in my time, if they, come at me and be as antagonizing as they are, I'm going to feel like I'm going to do something. I'm going to hurt one of your staff. So it's like a threat. So that's what I said. Next thing, and when I had this conversation with the staff, I was in a hole. So when I get ready to get released from the hole, instead of giving me a set of blues, as I said, was for a general population, they give me a set of oranges. So I was like, boom, bingo. I know exactly where I'm going, and I know why. So my whole journey and my whole mission was to head over to being, I'm finally finna go and be with my sister or whatever. So that's where I go. So as I'm being over there, I'm getting dressed, I'm suited, I'm in my oranges, so they escorted me down. I'm being placed over there. So I'm going over there, and as I'm going, finally get over there to being in the dorm. Okay, so as I'm going up, I'm finally being able. I'm going up. I'm finally finna be able to see my sister visually. Like we in the same vicinity. Mind you, a whole year, 14 months, and I'm finally finna be able to finally see her. So I go, boom, I'm being escorted. I get to the dorm. Now, when I get to the dorm, I'm being excited, because you got the K4s on one side, which is like minimum threat. Then you got the K10s, which they consider full threat, full on one-on-one. They can't be together type of thing. So I'm going there, and I heard, this is what I'm hearing. This is where my sister is. So I'm thankful, and I'm like, okay, all right, so I'm just waiting. So I get inside, and so you hear somebody say, I'm inside, and they like all movement. So you get, you might have a person come to pill call or whatever the case may be, and then they gotta go back up to their cell, and then here I am, somebody new. So I'm standing here waiting to see. And I gotta stand right here while the sergeant go over there and talk to the staff, so they figure out where I'm going. Mind you, got all eyes on me. Everybody at their doors, and they looking outside their window, and they trying to figure out who this is. And then I hear somebody, Crystal, Crystal. And I'm looking, I'm like, no, matter of fact, I didn't go like this. My hands behind my back, I'm cuffed. And I'm like, I was cheesing. And then she go, and I'm thinking, motherfucker, I ain't the one that said nothing in the first place. So I'm laughing, but it just goes to show how excited she was to see me too. And couldn't contain it. Instead of me be quiet, like I'm the one that spoke first, I'm finna get the whole spot blown or whatever. So boom. So I'm happy. So I'm here. All right. So for some of y'all, you might not understand, and to y'all might feel like, how can you be excited for something like this, man? When you come from, or you have been through the things that I've been through and other people, it's like a bittersweet thing to where it's exciting, but then it's just like, damn. So at this moment, I found this to be joy. I've been through a lot in my young life at these times, and this was a joyful moment for me. So anyways, I share, we go through the time I'm get placed in my cell. Everybody come out at an individual time, so I never get to hug her. And again, this was one of those moments that was bittersweet. I'm happy to be here, but shit, I ain't even get to embrace you and fully be like, hey, I love you. You know what I'm saying? It just get to have that hug, but it was cool. I understood, what was going on and what position I was in, and I'm adapting to where it is that I'm at. So we get placed in the cells sometimes, and so I remember one time I was having a conversation, and I'm talking to, shout out to Peaches, you know who you is. Peaches been rocking with us for a long time, you know what I'm saying? Love Peaches to death. And I remember I'm sitting there and I'm talking to somebody in the cell, and I'm just like cussing like a sailor. I'm like, yeah, what motherfucker this business? I'm like, yeah, this shit didn't. And I hear her come, and she out the cell, hey. She like, Crystal. She like, quit cussing. And I remember thinking to myself, and I'm looking, I'm thinking, quit cussing. And I'm like, do you know where we at? I'm like, cussing is the least, should be the least of our worries. But mind you, we come from a family that's like, look, moms and pops ain't there, they at work, they doing whatever. The next person in line that run the show is your older sibling. So it ain't no me getting on the phone, because it has happened, getting on the phone like, such and Jessica or Jesse or Michael or Kiki, such and such did such and such to me. They like, well, I'm not there. So whatever it is that they telling you to do, they're not going to be telling you nothing wrong. That's my mom's words. They're not going to be telling you nothing wrong, so you listen to them. So that was the way that everything went. It was whoever fell in line. So because I was so used to that program, big sister, little sister, she telling me what to do, me knowing I need to listen, and because mom is not here and it's just us. So that took place in my mind, and when she told me that, I didn't get argumentative or be like, motherfucker, what I wanted to say. But it was like one of the moments to where I was like, okay. I just listen, even though I had many, many other concerns in my mind, like you, tears. But I was like, okay. I just listen, even though I had many, many other concerns in my mind, like you, tears. But I listened because it was this respect level that we was taught and that I had for my older siblings. So I listened, and I just, no words said. It wasn't no back and forth necessary. It wasn't needed, But it just cracked me up, because I was like, dang, throughout all this time, I'm like, sometimes you just know how to be just you. And no matter what situation you in, when it comes to those that's, like this to you, that's your folks, you deal with them on a certain way that you have dealt with them before, and that just part just don't change. And a lot of people may not understand it, but that's just what it is. So, throughout time, we had did a time I wasn't with her for very long, unfortunately, because like I said, once I got there, my case was already over. So I was just waiting to catch the train and go to prison. So one night, I finally end up, getting called, and I leave. And I got to talk to her. They let you know the night before, so I got to talk to her, told her everything, like, I'm leaving the next night and stuff. And mind you, like I told you, like, at this time that I had been with her, I haven't even been able to like fully embrace her or nothing like that. And like I said, this is my big sister, and at this time, at this moment in my life, this is the only comfort that I have. Other than that, I could get on the phone and talk to my family or whatever, but you know, it's different from somebody actually being there. So I didn't have that. So I look forward to being with her, to being able to embrace her and just, you know, just have that. So us being separated, I was happy because at that moment, you know, quick story, we had, you know, got into it with the police. We had did like a little incel disruption on them to where we flooded our toys. We let water out, we flooding it, we flooding the place, and they can't control us because they can't just come running in because they consider us a big threat and everything like that. So it didn't work out in a way that they would have wanted it to, and then they basically couldn't send all of us to the hole because of that. So they basically put us, say, okay, you got such and such many days in the hole, you got this many days in a hole, you got this many days in a hole. But instead of each person being taken to the hole where it actually was, it was too many of us. So we had to basically get treated like we were in a hole inside of ourselves. So we got juke balls. If you know juke balls is, trust me, you don't want it. Like, you don't want to eat it. It's like garbage placed in one big ball and they serve it to you. And you thought the regular food was bad. No, that is horrible. You don't want it. So that next day, after they all sent, told us basically, you going to the hole for this many days, you going to the hole, you get juke ball, you get burned. You like, oh my God. You know, some of us had like a whole month. I was one of them people that had such a long time, and I had juke balls because I was also one of the ones doing the extra, and I didn't want to be there. So when I found I was catching a chain the next day, which was going to prison, I was happy. I was happy to leave that, but I was sad to leave my sister. So again, a lot of this stuff be like bittersweet, you know? And so I finally left. And so now I get shipped off. I get taken to the pen. I go to VSP, Valley State Prison, which is now considered a men's facility. So I was in there, mind you. I'm getting to know the whole movement. I'm getting to know the works, everything. Like, again, everything is coming so fast, and it's like I'm young, and I still got this innocent mindset of mine. And I'll never forget, somebody told me before they looked at me, and it was like a mentor of mine. And they looked at me, and they said, and you could tell I looked back, but it was one of them looks like it was a concern. And they said, like, like, basically they feel sorry for me. And I was like, why? Here I am. I'm thinking I'm tough. I got this. I can figure it out. But I'm like, why? And she said, because you're gullible. And I remember saying, gullible. Like, I said, what does that mean? And she said, that means you believe anything somebody tells you. And I said, so here I am, I'm thinking she tripping. I said, well, why wouldn't I? I said, why do somebody gotta lie to me? Who am I? And then she looked and she said, people would tell you anything. Anything that they feel like you want to hear, they're going to tell you to get what they want. And here I am, I'm thinking, what can they possibly want from me? I have shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can they possibly want? I'm thinking, like, what? Like, and then, you know, at that moment, I didn't understand. I'll be honest with you. Like, I thought I understood it when she explained the term of what gullible mean, but I didn't understand it because when I got to prison, my gullibleness showed. I was a kid. I was innocent. I come from a good family. We may have had our issues, our problems, or whatever, stuff like that. I may have, you know, been through certain things in the streets, but nothing to the point to what it was that I was exposed to and what I had to learn. You know, like, I'm this young. I'm 18 years old, and I come from this life where you can always call on somebody. Somebody gonna be there, whether it was your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, cousin, somebody. So to where I'm turning, and it's just like me. I'm the person in control. I'm the person that got a friend for me, for myself. I am the person to call on. And, you know, that was one of them things to where it was just like, dang, okay, so you trying to, everybody trying to game you up. Either they trying to, at this point, I feel like everybody either trying to tell you something or not tell you nothing, or tell you just a little bit to get to would feel like they said something positive to you, or try to game you up, but not to tell you more than what it is that they know. Sometimes a person not going to tell you, you know, everything that they know, because they feel like, what if you surpass them? So you also got to deal with people just telling you the minimum, and you figuring out the rest. And at this moment, like, I just feel like throughout my time, I was just basically like getting by. I was just, everything was learning, so my time was going by like this, because here it is, I'm just learning. And I felt like throughout that time, my innocence was like here, and I never looked at it like this, but until then, I felt like I began to see my innocence separate, like I was coming apart. And it was because I was being exposed to so much stuff, and also it was because I was forced to like grow up. It wasn't like, you know, the regular teenager who become 18 years old, and you know, they learning throughout being with their parents or their family, and they making these stupid mistakes, and they still got somebody to fall on. I was forced to grow up because it was like a person only gonna teach you so much. And if you don't get with the ways, you're gonna get lost, and they gonna surpass you, and they gonna run over you. And because I couldn't have that, I felt like I was trying to, you know, do things I wasn't accustomed to, but I was forced to become a person that, like, I felt like I would never became. But through it all, you got your good times, and unfortunately, like I said, you become a person that maybe on the streets you would have never became, because sometimes you're not exposed to as much as you think you're exposed to. And you're trying to figure out things on your own, and sometimes you living in a world to where you just trying to understand, and sometimes that understanding may be, okay, do this because you think it makes sense, when really none of it makes sense. You're doing it because you trying to get people, or make people think that you're in a place in your life to where you're not even at. And like I said, my innocence was taken because I was locked in county, not because I was taken to prison, not because I caught my case. I feel like my innocence was taken because I was forced to grow up. I didn't have time to be a kid. 18, I'm still young. I don't know why they make you an adult in California at the age 18. You don't know shit. You don't know shit. Half these things that people have been through in their life, when they tell you they was at the bottom, believe it. And I don't consider this to be bad. I'm just saying that I've witnessed, and I was going through some things that shaped me into being a person I probably would have never become. Not evil, not all bad, but just hard around the edges, because they put you on like it builds a defense mechanism against so many people that's like, I don't trust this, I don't trust that, these people will lie to you, all these people are liars, they just saying this because they want something. And then your mind begin to think like that, and you like, that ain't even the case. But it was the case for me, you know. And so I lasted doing, I think maybe another year. No, I think maybe like another 2 years I was in there. And so my experience was just, that was just such a learning experience for me. And then I remember hearing 2013, 2013, I remember talking to my mom, and I remember her telling me Jessica lost her case. And I'm like, dang, I'm like, she did? I'm like, what happened? They said she lost. She didn't want to take the time that they was offering, so she took it all the way to the box. And she said they gave her life. And I was like, L? I was like, life? I was like, nah. I'm for real. I was like, I'm appalled, and I'm like, so my heart, I felt so, I felt sad for her. You know, like my time I had ended up getting 14 with half, and you know, to hear that, either way it go, it may sound bad, but at the end of the day, when you know you got a date or you had a date, man, that's just not the biggest worry for you, because you know at some point you going home. But to know that she had gotten that much time because of her case, that saddened me. And so I remember being here, and I remember like, okay, boom. So I figure I know she gonna try to come over here with me. Thank God throughout that process, that prison, VSP, was getting shut down. They was turning it to a men's prison. And so all the women had to be shipped over, which was across the street, which was CCWF. We had to be shipped over there, and then some people got sent to CIW, which is down closer to LA. I wasn't one of them, you know. So when I was going over, I heard that I was going over there, and now I'm putting in whatever it is to be able to go there, because I hear that this is where my sister is at. So my aim is to go there, because I hear she just caught the train, she landed, she over there. And knowing that, I'm like, I got to get over there. So I end up making it. I end up going there, and I was the happiest person in the world again. I end up landing on a different yard. And no, I end up landing on the same yard as her. And when I end up landing on the same yard as her, I remember going, I was in another room, I remember boom, put my stuff down, I'm like, hey, y'all know who Groovy is? I'm asking. They like, yeah, she in C Hall, room 20, I'll never forget it. And I'm like, what? So boom, I go, and they did like an unlock or something like that, and I go to her door. She was inside her room, and I went, and I'm like, hey, is Groovy here? So I go, and I'm standing at the door. She come to the door. This was Jessica looked like. She was all in shape. She looked good, and like a straight door. And I remember going. She come to the window, and she just like standing there straight up. She just smiling. And I said, I'm like, what's up? I'm like, I love you. And at this point, like, our communication was short. It was more, we was excited to see each other. We was happy. And I remember just being there, and we just looking. And I said something funny, like, because it was, the moment seemed so, like, tense. I was like, you ugly. And I remember we both fell out laughing. And I'm like, what's up? How you doing? I'm like, she like, I love you. And I'm like, I love you too. I'm like, how you doing? You good? And we just kind of like, just looking at each other. And I remember she finally got to come out. And it felt like we hugged for at least 15 minutes. For a long time. Something we hugged for a long time. And I remember she came out, and sometime after that, because she had already been here a little bit of time, so she had just a little bit of time to get settled, because I was being shipped from that other prison. So I come over, we talk and everything like that. And we went out on the yard one day, and I remember she like, oh, you want to smoke? So at this time, I thought I smoked, and it's been such a long time. So I'm like, yeah. So we come out, and we're on the yard and we smoking. So she give me some, and we smoking, we laugh, and we're walking all the way around the track back and forth. And I remember we get down to like the little, like a senior citizen door, 405. We get down there, and I remember she was like, some old lady's like, hey, how y'all doing? We got this stuff for sale. You want to buy this stuff? And Jessica said, yeah, we was hot. He said, yeah, I buy that shit. She said, yeah, I buy it. Wipe my ass. So we on the floor, we laughing. I feel like we had 2 laps. Imagine walking around the park and you walking and you doing laps. I feel like we had 2 laps just laughing, and we just laughed. I mean, to the point we ain't talk. We didn't talk the whole time. We was just laughing, and I said, "You is fun." I'm like, that was funny. So we doing that, and throughout the time, we end up getting me moved into her room. So now we living together, and I'm like on 1 low, I think, and she had like a corner bed, maybe like 3 low, which is good bed considered being in there. You like in that 8-man cell inside prison or whatever, and so yeah, she like in 1 low, 3 low. So we kicking it, we drinking, we getting to know each other, we laughing, we having fun, we chopping it up, we doing everything like that, and at this time, that's when I realized, I was like, man, I'm like, my sister different. Like, this is my sister, but at the same time, I felt like I don't really know her. And like I said, like being like on the streets, there's like a big sister, little sister thing. So, her being around as a big sister, that's my little sister thing. We got like such an age difference, maybe like some years apart. We got somebody in between us, but we got some years apart. And so your siblings, like sometimes you feel like you know them, but then you realize you don't. And this was one of the moments as I'm in there, and I noticed how like once we actually became like every day, daily, got to living together and stuff like that, it was different. Like, and I realized she don't know me, I don't know her, so she looking at me like my little sister, but friendship wise, the regular person off the streets. And to be honest, like, damn, like, and to me, I'm looking like I got all the love for you in the world. Like, I look up to you on like everything. But the way that she treated me was just, he's just another motherfucker off the streets. We cool, but I get into it just in a quick second. And I couldn't understand it because I had never been like that with my siblings. So,
I can listen to a song and can't hold that cry. Gotta always be the strong one, can't break that pride. But I'm losing me, I finally hit the ground real hard. Damn, tell my sister that I love her. I miss when we can kick it on the yard and really get to know each other. Some people think I'm institutionalized, but they don't realize it was somebody left behind. I feel like it's a part of me that's missing. Easy to keep my distance, I don't wanna burden people with my wishes.